Impromptu No. 1, the famous one. So let me try to muddle my way through a little bit. It's not one of the pieces that I play, sadly, but hopefully I will soon. And then we'll discuss what makes this guy tick. Sadly, the way it's often heard in competitions is, it turned into a machine gun sort of a valley. And of course, that completely takes all the charm and beauty and magic from the piece. So the first thing to discuss here is the concept of jeu perlé, which is French for pearly playing, which is their romantic ideal and represents the beauty and the shine of pearls on black velvet. So black velvet, of course, is the left hand. The question is how to get that pearly sound from the right hand. Certainly not by treating it like a canon exercise, right? So there's many more methods than one to achieve a pearly sound, but I think it would make sense to go from what we know of Chopin's own playing. Or in this case, in the quote that I'm about to tell you, is actually about Liszt's playing, but Liszt and Chopin learned quite a bit from each other and had apparently similar hands. So Liszt described playing music like this as having the fingers be like the spokes of a wheel which turn around, which to me represents, which to me means that fingers actually don't act so much, they just drive the arm around. So the fingers can actually be a lot stickier than we would allow in other kinds of music. And that very slight overlap between the notes creates a feeling of super legato, which makes the right hand sound not like, 16 notes per measure, 15 notes per measure, I can count. No, that's still wrong. 12 notes per measure, there we go, good. So instead of hearing all those notes, what we hear is a mellifluous line that just bends around the way a singer's would. You can achieve that sound with all kinds of other means that appeal to you, but I would say that the sound production is task number one in these things. Other questions to consider is that ornament. If you probably noticed, I played them all on the beat. But you hear plenty of recordings of... To me, that doesn't sound as good. And in fact, the more I read about Chopin, the more I see that scholars say that most, or at least a great deal of Chopin ornamentation is to be played on the beat, as you would do in early Mozart. And the more I try it, the more I like it. But of course, it remains a question of personal choice. The next thing to consider is that if you've heard me speak about really any music, you've heard me touch on the subject of the difference between iambic and trochaic rhythm, with iambic rhythm being the one where you start on a weak beat and go to or through the strong beat, and trochaic is where you start on the beat and finish on a strong beat and finish on the weak beat. And in the music, let's say, of Beethoven or Bach, in fact, in the music of most composers, if you just think iambically, a music going through the bar line, through the beat, you'll be successful. 90% of all music is built like that. Chopin is a very special case. In the same piece, he'll go from iambic to trochaic without taking a breath in between. For example, the way this opening is, we clearly start on the strong beat, and we clearly end on the weak beat, and so it continues, but as I said, hardly with any preparation. Suddenly we start on weak beats and go through to the strong beat, and it's very important to be sure in every measure exactly what the plan is, exactly which of the rhythmic structures you prefer. It's definitely worth taking a little time to think about